She wants to be back?
Well, that's it. Yeah. So Linda Hamilton was asked about whether she would return for James Cameron's reboot of Terminator, and it was a resounding no. But it was also a very interesting sort of exploration of her character, what she believes her character to be. Which I thought it was quite interesting, actually. So let's take a look, because I think this is interesting. Now, James Cameron has threatened us with a reboot of Terminator for some time now. I don't know whether that's ever going to happen. Apparently, he's waiting for AI to show what it's going to do, so he can write a non-fictional story. I guess. Apparently, he's going to write a documentary. The next Terminator is going to be a documentary, according to James Cameron. Right. Anyway, famously, Arnold Schwarzenegger said he's completely done, so that's fine. You know, he said, "No, I'm done." I got the message loud and clear that the world wants to move on with a different theme when it comes to the Terminator. That's fine. But she was asked, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I have nothing more to say. The story's been told, and it's been done to death. Why anybody would relaunch it is a mystery to me. But I know Hollywood, I know our Hollywood world is built on relaunches right now. Isn't it ever? I truly, and this is interesting, I truly feel like and felt like Sarah Connor is not an icon. She's a woman in hell. She makes some really bad choices. She's not a good mother. She's a good fighter. So you sort of try to pass the details out and go, well, they respect her strength and her power. And I did create a warrior, but she's very imperfect. She's an imperfect person. So it was hard to sort of come to terms with all that and then just go, okay, I can accept it because I've heard it now for so many years. People actually treat me like I saved the future. Don't know about that, but fine. If you could see how utterly hapless I am during my life and my daily life, but it's pretty cute and I have no complaints. It's delightful. So a few things, brilliant. She gets it. She's done. Cool. Fine. Like I like it. That's good. That's great. Absolutely cool. We don't need either of them back, quite frankly. But also, what she's detailed there is saying that she's not a good person. You know, she's not a good person. She's just a good fighter. She's not a good mother, etc. I really like that because to me, she's half right, not fully there. What she's actually describing is the hero's journey.
Yeah.
And that's what writers have forgotten.
And I disagree. There's only a few mothers that would kill for their sons. Sarah Connor, Mrs. Voorhees. I mean,
not wrong.
That was a Jason joke.
Sorry, I'm reading something. But what do we think, guys? Because I like this story. I like this story a lot, actually. Go on, Culture.
Well, I think that she hits the nail on the head. I mean, look, the fact that she has a different opinion of this than probably many of the fans in calling her kind of heroic or treating her as, you know, the hero that she is. I think it's interesting. Her takeaway of the character might be shaded by her last experience being the character. I think that Dark Fate was a bad way to end her character journey, but she is a good fighter and she was a good mother. She put her son in a position to save the world, and she was a party to that as well. I think it's interesting as actors and actresses get older that they reflect back on all of the characters that they've played, and the ones that they get the most accolades for. Sometimes they don't think that's, you know, that's the best thing they did. That's not the best role they had or whatever. I would imagine if you ask, let's say, Robert Downey Jr., you know, what his best role was, he's not going to say Tony Stark. He's going to say, you know, Chaplin or something else.
Tropic Thunder.
Maybe so, but probably not. But my whole point being is anytime somebody's calling it quits on a character, I always find it fascinating what they say. But at least she understands the role of the character. I mean, and at least she owns up to the fact that she's playing a character and not herself. So that's the other thing that she acknowledges here. I like it. There's a level of self-awareness here that I don't think is present in Hollywood very often, if at all anymore. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it.
Well, it's just nice that she also called out Hollywood, but I know our Hollywood world is built on relaunches right now. So
yeah. She's not wrong. Like you said, level of self-awareness here is incredible.
Go on then, Tom. You got some stuff to say.
I feel like she doesn't quite understand her own character anymore, and I think a big
Oh, maybe not. But
last movie. No, because the last movie could have and should have been the best one since the second one, and they screwed it up. Because
Mm.
I mean, Sarah Connor to me is one of the most one of the strongest female heroines, and she does have an extremely typical hero's journey that we see in films, right? She starts out as the naive,
Yep, meek and
young,
innocent.
meek, innocent, and she gets sent on the journey. She gets the call to action, right? She goes through hell.
Mm.
And it's not so much that she makes bad choice. The only time I'd say she made a bad choice was when she knew she should have just lied to the doctors and said, "Yeah, I know. I was just making shit up to get attention." Right? So she could have got out of the nut house. Like, other than that, that's the only time I'd say she made a bad choice. Because otherwise, she's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. And in fact, you could argue she does succeed where her son doesn't have to, right? At the end of Terminator
Mm.
2, by all basic understanding of the way things go, they won. Right? Like, things are done. They're done. They destroyed them, but they're going to continue to have more. So my point was, is if they're going to continue to have more, the idea was they should have done is played into the fact that what's his face who played John is all screwed up, Edward Furlong.
Yeah.
Play into the fact that he's all screwed up. Right? I'm not saying we have to tear down a hero, but what we do have to do is look at the fact that this guy was trained and raised to be the guy to lead the world to victory against the machines. But that didn't happen.
Mm.
Right? And that's what the third film should have all been about. It should have been about the fact that it didn't happen and that John Connor's life is all screwed up now because he can't keep a job, can't do anything right because all he can do is kill machines now. And he ends up getting killed trying to save his daughter, right? So, but then you find out that, yeah, things didn't change. They just got pushed down the line a little bit. So all that's left, the only hope that's left is John Connor's daughter. Well, who's left to train her? Grandma. That should have been the third film. It should have been the third film. It could have been a son too, for all I gave a shit. But my point is if you're going to go down the next generation, it's too late. Otherwise, Terminator's a capsule. You can't do another one. They're done.
I've always said, and I stand by it. It should have been a trilogy, and it would have been the perfect trilogy.
Yeah.
Terminator 1, Terminator 2 happens the way it does, but Terminator 3 is the future war, and then going into Skynet, destroying Skynet, and then literally closing with the Terminator being sent back. And then that moment in time is always going to happen, but you always know that they beat Skynet, and John Connor always wins in the future. That would have been perfect.
Yep. And
I love that.
And James Cameron,
I think that's amazing.
And James Cameron even said at one point in time, after Terminator 2, the only other movie that's even worth doing is The Future War, which we see glimpses of in Terminator 2 and of course in T1.
And I like the end of Salvation, and I like some of I like the beginning of Salvation, but I hate the ending of it. So that had the right idea.
My only issue, and I like Salvation or bits and pieces of it anyways. My main issue with Salvation was it wasn't the actual future war. It was like a modern day, apocalyptic war. There was no blue laser guns with that dark, world with that sort of blue tint haze over everything. It wasn't like that at all. It was completely different. But I would definitely have signed up to see a future war movie in the way that it was shot in T1 and T2. I've always wanted that, and we've never gotten that. So if James Cameron comes and does another one, that should be the one he does. Like exactly.
Oh, he's not going to.
He's
waiting to see what AI does.
Yeah.
He should have got a John Connor movie 20 years ago starring Michael Bean.
Yeah.
Or if you want him to die, you make him Sean Bean, Scene Bean.
Well, I'm just saying his dad's playing his son,
no,
right?
I know, but I was going for the low hanging fruit joke. So. Nora.
Dear. But look, who knows? I like the story. I think it's good. I think she understands it. We also William Fleming dropped in with $1 and says there are only 2 Terminator movies. That's the world I live in. It's nice here.
Yeah, same. I feel the same.
I didn't hate Salvation. Like, it's got some salvageable elements to it. It's not that bad. It's somewhat guilty pleasure, I guess, to a degree.
I look at Salvation as like a one-off in another universe.
Yes.
Like another timeline, not part of T1, T2, you know.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Anything else to add on this? What about her comments about Hollywood being built on relaunches right now? I mean, that clearly needs to end.
Actually, Salvation is a sequel to 3, but people forget that. Because they have the same characters in there as part 3. Kate is from part 3.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah,
that is true, actually. Any other thoughts? Any closing thoughts? No, yes, no. No, yes.
Well,
yes,
I hope
no,
this also indicates that we don't get another movie.
Oh, we're going to. Come on.
Yeah.
man.
No. I mean, we don't get another one with Arnie and her involved. I don't want
right.
yeah.
Not. They'll use AI to bring Arnold back.
I hope not.
Well, they will. AI will be great at that point for that. So they'll just do that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there you go, ladies and gents.